What's going on, guys? Dawkbro back again. Hope you are fantastic today and welcome back to another Five Nights at Freddy's 6 video. I think this is going to be the last one. I think I'm satisfied after this one. We've talked quite a lot about Five Nights at Freddy's 6. I think we've done, on Friday we did the ending explained, and today we're going to be doing the secret mini games and the Candy Cadet stories. I could have done separate videos on each of these mini games and the Candy Cadet stories, but I'm not going to do that to you guys. We'll fit it all in one video, I think. And the reason why I didn't include these mini games and the stories with the ending explained is because they weren't needed to be involved in that. These mini games, apart from the puppet one, are very complicated, and they, at the moment, don't seem to be adding anything onto the ending. They seem to be more like added extras by Scott. But they're very hard to understand and there's not really much information about them, especially the car mini game. Like, there's loads of things you can talk about, but there's not enough evidence in the mini game to explain things. So the first mini game we're going to be talking about is the fruit maze. If you guys didn't know, if you keep beating the fruit maze by collecting all the fruit in the mini game, it starts to get pretty dark. Before we talk about that, let's have a look at the reflection of the screen. The reflection of the minigame's arcade screen is a young girl with blonde hair, a red bow, and a pink dress, and she's smiling, blue eyes. She looks super happy. When we beat the first level though, she seems very upset, and you can see why in the game. We see a dog. It seems to be a dog to me, and the dog seems to have got chopped up a little bit. The legs have been cut off, and it's really gruesome. We don't know who this dog is. It could have been the little girl's pet dog. We don't know. Another little cool feature as well is a rabbit. A golden rabbit seems to be lurking around the minigame too. Golden rabbit doesn't do anything, it just watches us. But I think this is just a hint to show Spring Bonnie's about to arrive. The next minigame is even darker. The dog is even more gruesome, like headless and blood everywhere. When the girl's walking, blood trickles behind her. There's flowers and there's a box as well, which is probably what the dog was buried in. Take a look at the reflection again, guys. She's even more upset, but behind her is even worse. Behind her is someone inside Spring Bonnie, and it probably is William Afton, the killer. When your time is up, he says, he's not really dead. He is over there. Follow me. Interestingly though, the text is in different colours. He's not really dead is in blue. He is over here is in yellow. And follow me is in blue. It's very interesting to see why Scott decided to do this. Are they separate characters who are saying this? We don't know. Also as well, very interestingly, there's a car horn as well, and there's a lot of predictions on what this is. Some people are predicting that the dog got run over by a car. Others are saying that this is a car horn for the girl's parent. The girl hasn't came out the pizzeria yet, so she's the parents are honking the horn like, we're here, where are you? Those are the only explanations there are. But it's just interesting why there's a dead dog in this. It would be a pretty nice idea that the dog got run over. That explains the car alarm. But other than that, there's not a lot of evidence to help us here. We could predict loads of things about this. He's not really dead. Is William talking to the girl here about her dog? Did William experiment with dead animals before children? He's not really dead, little girl. He's over here. Follow me and I'll show you what I've done with your dog. Do you know what I mean? Or he could be talking about her friend. Maybe her friend got murdered by William and he's saying, he's not really dead, little girl. I've actually made him possessed into an animatronic robot. Follow me. That's why it's so difficult. Like, the thing is with this game is that the ending's been solved and we've got information to solve the game more. But again, there's mini games and stuff what Scott's added, which make us go crazy because we don't understand it. There's not much else I can say. I can say that the mini game girl looks very similar to the girl in the screen. So I think there's a connection between the two, and that's her dog what's died in the mini game and stuff. But yeah, it would be a pretty dark thing that William experimented with dogs and animals before children. And then he started killing kids because he's like, yes, I've managed to get this dog alive again. Maybe possessed an animatronic or something. It's kind of weird that a dog would possess an animatronic. Well, that's what people are saying, that the dog represents Mangle. Because Mangle's been ripped apart as well, and the dog has as well. The only thing, what I can say, is that the girl picks up fruit, cherries, oranges, grapes. I feel like that minigame is a little bit more solvable than the next one. The next one, guys, is the racing minigame. To get this, on the 4th lap, there's a little bit of a gap at the bottom of the road. You just go through and you get into it straight away. But this is extremely complicated, and again, it's hard to understand it, and we can make loads of ideas about this as well. So, for a start, we're in a car that's purple, which makes people think that we're playing as William Afton at this time. Car that was used to kill the first child in the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 minigame is purple. It's also good to add, guys, that this is the only purple car in the game. When you go to the car park, none of the other cars are purple. So did Scott do this intentionally? When you're driving peacefully down this road with the best soundtrack in the game, you come across the car park, but a building called Junior's. Now, we don't know much about this Junior's facility, whether it's a cafe, a bar, a pizzeria before the introduction of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. We don't know. Is this Fredbear's Family Diner? We don't know. Is it Junior's Family Diner? We don't know. It's just called Junior's. Interestingly though, there's a green man outside this place. The green man says, "Come on, you know you can't be here. Don't make this more difficult than it has to be." So it looks like the person who we're playing as cannot be at this location. What have we done to not be able to go in? After that, we make our way home. Now, this is where things get even more interesting and complicated. When we go inside, we see a man sat down next to the TV. He looks quite old and he looks quite miserable. We say, leave him alone tonight. He had a rough day. Why has he had a rough day for? What's happened? He does look old though. He looks like an old man. So I'm guessing that this is our father or someone like that. He looks old. He looks like an old man. It seems like it's trying to show that this is our father. Then we go up to a certain room, but the room's locked. We say, I told you not to close your door. No answer. This is my house. He can't ignore me like that. So for a start, it's a he who's trapped himself in this room, not a she. But it also shows that this is our house. This is the yellow man's house. He owns this house. So this old man sat on the chair, it's not his house, his father's house. Whoever it is, this isn't his house, but he seems like an old man. Maybe he's too old to own a house now. He's retired or something's happened, or he's just stopped by to visit. I don't know. So we decide to take this in our own hands and try going outside the house and through the back window to get ourselves in the room. Strangely enough, the window's broken. So it looks like the person who we're trying to find has escaped, as we see footprints leading outside. Interestingly though, it's not only his footprints that are there. There are a pair of animatronic footprints next to the bushes. Interestingly, these footprints don't lead to the window. They stay at the bush, and these are the only footprints we see. Strangely, the footprints don't follow him either, so it's kind of weird. To me, it seems like the boy escaped and went somewhere with this animatronic. Whether it was an animatronic or a spring lock suit with someone else inside. That's the problem. We don't know. People are saying this animatronic tried to kidnap this dude who's in the room. Like I said, the footprints don't lead to the window, so it seems like the person in this room left intentionally. So that I don't think there was any kidnapping involved in this. But there was definitely an animatronic or spring lock suit or something there with him. So this man or boy or teenager in this room is very suspicious to me. And this is why. Ran off to that place again. He will be sorry when he gets back. So it seems like the person in this room has gone to that place again. This isn't the first time this has happened. And Yellow Man doesn't care. He doesn't care. He's not like, oh my god, what's happened to him? Oh no, oh no, oh no, he's missing. Ran off to that place again. He will be sorry when he gets back. That's all he says. Casually as well. So this seems like a normal thing this person in this room is doing. And he doesn't seem to be bothered by the animatronic footprints either. So these are my suggestions. The boy or teenager in this room is working with this animatronic or spring suit. The person inside the spring suit. I don't know what they're doing. Killing kids, whatever, I don't know. The other suggestion is what people are saying is that the person was kidnapped by the animatronic, but I doubt that because you can clearly see the footprints leaving into the bushes, not an animatronic footprint leaving into the bushes. So yeah, it's just interesting, and I don't know. I really don't know what this could mean. We could be playing as William, we could be playing as Henry, we could be playing as someone else, we could be playing as Michael. We don't know. It's really hard to know, honestly. If you guys have got any suggestions, let me know, because these mini games are very complicated to me. You could just say they're anybody, you know, and it could be right, it could be wrong. There's not enough evidence to prove that we're playing as William or we're playing as Henry. Another really, really suspicious thing in this as well is that there's a secret area. If you go onto this road, you see a dirt pile. And that's it. It's just an empty space with a dirt pile. And again, there's not enough evidence to say what this could be. It could be a buried body. It could be a buried spring lock suit. It could be a buried man. It could be a buried dog. It could be a buried sack of burritos with spinach sauce. A good suggestion as well, but I don't think it can be true because the footprints don't go into the window. People are suggesting that this is a link with the Twisted Ones novel. If you guys haven't read this, it's basically animatronics capture people in their stomachs and then they bury themselves underneath the ground for the daytime. At night time, they unbury themselves and carry on and lead them to William Afton's underground secret base. For a start, Scott said that the novels aren't canon with the games. I'm not going to keep saying that because some parts can be both together, you know. But like I said, the animatronics bury themselves during the day, and as you can clearly see, it's night time. And the footprints don't lead to the window. This dude's gone out intentionally, and the footprints of the man lead off, not the animatronic footprints. I do honestly feel like Scott is going to do an update in Five Nights at Freddy's 6 in the future, maybe a custom night like he did with Sister Location, to explain these mini games more in depth, because honestly, it's really hard to know. Like I could have made a theory about this, guys. I could have said, this is William, this is William's brother or son, this is the family house, his father lives there as well, he's an old man, and we could be playing as William's father, we don't know, and the old man's the grandfather. William's father has been noticing his son locking himself up and going out the window with this Spring Bonnie costume trying to kill kids. You know, that's a good theory, but there's not enough evidence to say that's true. There's not enough evidence. Like, next to the dirt pile, for example, Scott could have put a bow or something, or an animatronic part. That would give us evidence to say, oh, there's a buried child in there. That girl from the fruit mini game, she got buried there. Or a dog collar, that's where the dog got buried. Or the animatronic part, that's where a spring lock suit got buried, you know? It's just a dirt pile. You could say anything got buried in there. The next minigame is the puppet minigame. This one's the most easiest to understand. This is back at Fredbear's Family Diner where the first murder happened. The puppet was designed to look after the children. The children have these coloured wristbands, and the puppet is designed to look after the children with the wristbands on. The puppet couldn't find the child with the green wristband on, so had to look around to find her. Sadly, the children locked her outside, and the puppet couldn't get out. As soon as the puppet got out, the girl was locked outside, and she was taken away. The puppet went outside to try and find her to see what's going on. The girl is dead in the back alley with tyre tracks going away. These tyre tracks are obviously William Afton's car. William Afton killed the child, threw her at the back alley, and then drove off, just like the FNAF 2 minigame, but in more detail. The puppet goes next to her, getting absolutely drenched by the rain, which isn't the best for an electrical animatronic, collapses due to the rain, and lies next to the girl. The girl, aka Henry's daughter, possesses the puppet. We know this from the ending as well, in Five Nights at Freddy's 6. That's the easiest to understand. So easy. Okay, next is the Candy Cadet stories. Now again, these are very interesting, and to me, all these stories are the same story. They're not three separate stories, guys. They may seem separate, but they all talk about specific topics. Have a listen to the first one.
Now I will tell you a story. A story about a kind man who would visit 5 orphans and bring them toys and gladness. The man lived alone, and lived in fear that someone might break into the house of one of the 5 children, so he adopted all 5, and brought them together in one place, in his own home. He promised them to never leave them, and they promised to always come home, and never stay out too late. He left one day to buy food, his heart being filled with gladness, but returned to find that the burglar had chosen his home, and killed all 5 of the children. The man could only afford one coffin, so he stitched the 5 bodies together to make one, and buried the child. That night, there was a knock at the door.
So yeah, the first one talks about a man who lived on his own. He adopted 5 orphans because he was scared a burglar was going to break in to their home. He promised that he'd take care of them and never leave them as long as the children came back early home and looked after themselves and be safe. When he went out to grab some food for shopping, he came back to find all 5 children killed by the murderer. The man could only afford one coffin, so he stitched all the children together, 5 children as together as one, and buried them in the coffin. Remember this, guys. Remember the topics. 5. 1. 5 turns into 1. Remember that. Remember that, okay? 5 turning into 1.
Now I will tell you a story about a little boy. He had a red snake that he kept in a metal cage, whose hunger could not be satisfied. One day, the boy found 5 baby kittens outside his house. He brought them inside and kept them in a shoebox. He knew that the snake might kill them, but could not bring himself to get rid of the snake. He knew that if he chose one kitten to feed to the snake, it might be satisfied, but he could not choose. So, he went to bed, leaving the cage open. The snake went to the shoebox, chose a kitten at random, and ate it. After 5 nights had gone by, the boy was full of regret, and cut snake open. He pieced the remains together, and put the kitten back into the shoebox.
So yeah, again guys, 5 kittens turned into 1 in a box. And again, it's the same thing. The boy had a snake in a metal cage, and he couldn't satisfy the snake's hunger. He didn't want to get rid of the snake though. In his own choice, he kept the cage open, and after 5 nights, all the kittens were eaten by the snake. He cuts the snake open, gets the kittens' parts, and turns them into 1 and puts it back in the box. Remember that again, guys. I'm going to keep saying it. 5 into 1. Someone kills the 5. The 5 turn into 1.
Now I will tell you a story about a young woman who was sealed in a small room. In the room was a furnace, and 5 keys. She was told that each of the 5 keys would unlock one of 5 doors outside her room. Inside each room was a child that she could take with her as she fled the building. But she was only allowed to leave her own room with 1 key, not all 5. Desperate to find a way to save all 5 children, the woman melted the 5 keys together in the furnace to create a single key, hoping it would unlock all 5 doors. Of course, it did not work that way. Now her key opened none of the doors. Rather than leaving her room with a key to 1 life, she had taken with her the key to 5 deaths.
Again, guys, 5 children locked up in rooms, and there's a furnace. She can only choose 1 key out of the 5 to save 1 child. So, she tries to merge all 5 keys together using the furnace to open all the doors. It fails, and instead of saving 1 life, she has caused 5 deaths. All these stories are separate, but they are all the same story. 5 children died, 5 something, which I'm going to talk about in a sec. 5 something, okay? I'm just going to say 5 something was merged into 1 something. 5 bodies turned into 1 body. 5 kittens turned into 1 kitten. 5 keys turned into 1 key. Now, there's many theories on what this could be. Again, although the stories are great, you can guess on what they are. This could be to do with Ennard, for example. 5 animatronics turning into 1 animatronic together as 1. Ennard. 5 children turned into 1 animatronic. It could be anything. But on all of these, it's just interesting to me how there's a lot of members in the Afton family. Let's say the first one was about William, for example, right? William has 5 children and someone kills his 5 children. How crazy would that be? If William didn't kill his own children, what if Henry did or something for revenge? You don't know, do you? You really don't know. It could be. Is Henry a 100% good guy? Maybe Henry found out that William killed his child and Henry wanted revenge, so Henry killed his children. The snake one's very interesting as well. Which again, it could be towards Henry. Henry knew about William, but didn't close the trap on him. He let William do what he wanted. Or there could have just been any kids. Like, it doesn't have to be his own children. So Henry knew about William and was a bit suspicious about William. William was incredibly suspicious, and Henry thought that William was the killer, but didn't know just yet. So he didn't stop him. So the cage was left open for William to kill kids. William then kills 5 children. But the most key thing in this is the 5 to the 1. I've come up with some ideas for you guys. I can't certainly say anything solid. So if you guys have any ideas about that as well, it's very interesting. Let me know in the comment section. I can't solve them. I really can't. I've tried my hardest, but there's so many ideas what I have on what each minigame and Candy Cadet stories. You know? There could be anything. So let me know in the comment section what you think about each specific minigame and the stories. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate the support. Leave a like if you enjoyed. And yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Lots of love, guys. Hopefully you've had a good weekend. And I'll see you all next time.